Good evening, Lupus Warriors. Hello, hello, hello. Is there anyone out there awake tonight? Or is everyone all snuggled up and ready for bed? I know I am. But I wanted to pop in and do a really quick video. Um, I have something really important that I want to share with you. But before I jump into the video, let me just introduce myself for those of you that have never stopped by the channel before. This is the Laura's Lupus channel, and hello, my name is Laura. I created this channel in order to increase awareness, to educate, and to encourage lupus warriors all around the world. I created this community to be a safe place that we could talk about hard things. Even in our pajamas, even in our robe, we can talk about hard things. But no, tonight, I better be quiet. I'm going to try to tone it down because everyone else is sleeping. And so I want to be respectful. And so, yes, I am. I'm all prepared for bed, but I wanted to stop and um, I wanted to share something with you guys that I found. And it's about sleep. It's about sleep. And so everyone, experiences the sleepless nights every once in a while. And as a lupus warrior, we know about sleepless nights all too well. That's just a part of the disease. That's just a part sometime of having a flare, um, you know, where our sleep is disrupted. You know, sometimes we have problems going to sleep and staying asleep, or we just have, problems falling asleep, period. And so that can lead to a poor quality of life and a poor enjoyment of your quality of life. If you don't get that rejuvenating, refreshing, renewing amount of sleep that you need, it can impact the quality of your enjoyment of life. And so I wanted to share something with you tonight. Um, Hopefully, we can remedy that. And it's not going to involve any type of drugs or anything like that. Um, I think it's something that you'll find very interesting, okay? But let me give fair credit where I found it at. I have been reading this book, and it's called Lupus Solutions. And it's a step by step guide regarding understanding lupus, avoiding flares, and achieving long term remission, okay? And it's by Dr. Tiffany Caplan and Dr. Brent Caplan. So this book is written by two doctors, and I am really enjoying this book. I am discovering more and more and learning so much more about lupus that I've never known before. And I've had lupus for a while. And so I truly highly recommend this book for anyone that's recently diagnosed with lupus, or if you've had lupus for a long time. It is a very valuable resource. And so one of the resources that they have at the back of the book is called a sleep checklist. A sleep checklist. And you may say, well, why do we need a checklist for sleeping? Well, we have lists for everything else that's important in our lives that we want to do. We have a list for our goals. We have a list of chores for ourselves and our children. We have to-do lists. We have grocery lists. We have lists of things that we want to achieve a week from now, a month from now, a few years from now. We have all types of lists for the things that are important to help us prioritize, organize, and basically to help our lives run smoothly. Well, why can't the same thing be applied to your sleep? Sleep is important, right? So why not have a sleep checklist? And what's so different about this sleep checklist? And you've probably seen hundreds of checklists about how to get a good night's sleep. Do step this, step that, and step this. Well, this checklist is very different because it does not start at the time when you put on your pajamas and you're ready to climb into bed. It starts from the time you get up, things that you can do in order to help yourself transition over to excuse me, a good night's sleep. I mean, think about this, and I just thought about this, you guys. What do we do for our children or babies or our grandkids to get them to transition from a busy day to a nice, peaceful night of sleep? What do we do? And this is not just for the kids, it's for the adults too. We establish a sleep routine. Okay? We establish a bedtime routine. And that routine includes, something calming and relaxing before they go to bed, cookies and warm milk, a snack. It involves a bath, a bedtime story, a lullaby, and a back rub. And we do all of that to help them transition over to a good night's sleep. And so, if children need that, why can't we have something like that? Why can't we establish a bedtime routine for adults? Or maybe you guys have a routine. Maybe in this list, there will be some things that's a part of your bedtime routine. Now, when I looked at the list had about 30 things in it, and I'm not going to go through the entire list. What I did, I pulled out six of the most important things, condensed it down. I'm going to give you the six tips, but then I'm going to give you some sub tips or discuss it a little bit more. Okay? So are you ready? Let's jump into those six tips for this bedtime checklist or bedtime checklist and routine. Let's add that to it. Now, first of all, the Caplans, they recommend that as a lupus patient that you keep a sleep diary. And in this diary, you will track and record the quality of your sleep, the hours that you sleep, and any issues that you run into as far as getting a good night's sleep. Okay? So I think that's very important to keep a diary, to keep track. I mean, if you keep any type of diary or journal, it can be a source of information that when you go to your next doctor's appointment, you can open up this journal or this diary and say, hey, this is what I've experienced since my last appointment. Okay? And then also, why not? If you're having some sleep issues, hey, doctor, these are some of the issues that I'm having with my sleep. This is what I'm going through. But anyway, let's jump into the steps, the tips that they offer. The first one on the list is have a sleep schedule. And that means, going to bed and waking up about the same time every night and every day. Number two, the importance of your bed. And what they recommended is that, make sure that you have a comfy mattress, something comfortable that's conducive to your sleep posture. Some of us like to sleep on our back, on our sides, on our stomach. Some of us like a firm mattress. Some of us like a very soft mattress. Make sure that you have a mattress and a pillow that suits you. There's nothing like um, having the wrong type of pillow. A pillow and a mattress is a big investment because you're going to. That's where you get your. Um, that's where you renew at. And everybody needs sleep. Everything that is created by God, it needs rest. It needs sleep. And so why not make your bed a comfortable place to sleep? You know, I think that's the start to a good night's sleep. It's having a nice, comfortable bed and pillow. Okay. Number three, the air and the temperature of your bedroom. I've heard this before that it's recommended that you sleep in a cool room, that it's easier to sleep in a cool room than it is in a very hot room where you're hot and sweaty. And the room temperature should be at 65 or below. Also, having an air purifier in the room, it helps to get rid of or alleviate allergens. And then another thing I want to add to that is keeping your pets out of your room. I know it's nice to snuggle up with Grover, but Grover can have allergens, okay? And bring that into your bedroom and especially into your bed, okay? And if you have allergies to pet dander or hair or whatever, that could cause you some sleeping problems. So keep the pets out of your room and definitely keep them out of your bed. Also, they recommend that you have some sort of a fan running in the room for good air circulation. Ceiling fan, one of those oscillating fans, keep it on low. Um, the next important thing on the list is your lighting. And why is that so important? Um, Light, basically signals the body to wake up, to stay awake, especially like the blue light from our electronics. That's a big one because the blue light is more alerting instead of calming. They recommend if you're going to have any type of light on a humidifier or a night light, to have like a red light or a green light or something like that. The emissions from your electronics, that blue light emissions, it's basically it's like an arousing, gets you alert instead of making you or putting you in a calm, peaceful mood, ready for sleep. And so we need to minimize any type of light exposure from clocks, windows. With the windows, you can have blackout curtains or blinds or sleep with some sort of a mask on your eyes. With electronic devices, you can go into your settings, and if you have to have your electronics, if you have to take a look at it at night, if you have to have it in your room, you can go into your settings and you can shift it to night mode, into dark mode at the same time. You can lower your brightness, and then get this, turn off your notifications. There's nothing like you've just fallen asleep and have a ding to go off on your phone. Or if you have, if you sleep in the bed with your partner, your spouse, to have the ding to go off and wake them up from a good night's sleep. You don't want to do that. So turn off your notifications. That email or that text message, you can take a look at that and respond to it in the morning. And then also get this, make sure that if you are going to look at electronic devices before you go to bed, make sure that you stop looking at them at least a few hours before bedtime. Okay, so that was tip number 4. Number 5 and number 6 are the do's and the don'ts. As far as what you can do, to set up for your bedtime routine, the do's and the don'ts on your checklist for getting you prepared for a good night's sleep. And so, number 5 are the don'ts. These are things that we should avoid doing. We should avoid eating anything at least 2 to 3 hours prior to bedtime. We should avoid caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, fatty and greasy foods. And then also get this. This is so important, my friends. Avoid listening to or watching anything stressful prior to going to bed at night. That means if you have to avoid the news, if there are certain conversations that you can't have with certain people because it's going to stress you out, do not listen to any broadcast, podcasts, social media pages that's going to, cause you any type of stress before you go to bed. You know, Getting a good night's sleep is not just a physical thing, but from according to this list and how everything is coming together, that transitioning to bedtime starts early in the day. It's mental, physical, as well as emotional, preparing for bed. And like I said, the example I gave for preparing your kids for bed, you take them through this whole routine. So why not do the same thing for yourself? You deserve it, okay? Now let's jump to the do's. We've talked about the don'ts. What can we do to help us to transition to a good night's sleep? Well, we can do some sort of an exercise daily during the day, but make sure that you stop exercising at least 3 hours prior to your bedtime. Also, we can take naps, but we need to limit our naps to 30 minutes or less. Anything more than that is going to interrupt your sleep pattern. We can take a warm shower, or we can take a nice bath with some Epsom salts. Epsom salt has been known to be very relaxing for the muscles. Also, we can fill an essential oil diffuser with the scent of lavender. Lavender is known for its calming, peaceful uh, effect on the body and the mind. Okay? And last but not least, and this is the golden rule. You ready for the golden rule? Can you guess what it is? The golden rule for a good night's sleep is to use your bed for sleep and sex only. And this is a part of their list. Don't eat in your bed. Don't play games in your bed. Don't do any type of work in your bed. You have to train the brain to connect to the bedroom, that when you go in your bedroom and go to bed, that your bed is for sleeping, not a place where you do work or play games or anything like that. The mind and the sleep connection has to connect that bedroom so that that bedroom will not be a stressful place when you walk into it at night. Okay? That the mind needs to know this is a place that I can unwind, relax, and this is a place where I can get a good night's sleep. You see that? The mind needs to flip the switch so that I can get a good night's sleep. Okay? So I hope that you found these tips helpful. I'm going to wrap the video up. As I always say at the end of every video, there is life after lupus. My friends, if you enjoy the content that I'm presenting on this channel, please take a minute to hit the subscribe button. Also, hit the bell so that you can receive notifications when I upload a new video. Also, don't just subscribe, but hit the like button. Leave a comment. Let me know if any of these tips you've tried them, or if you've heard of this sleep checklist, or if you're going to try it. Let's, come back later on and let me know how it worked for you. I'm going to start implementing this, as a matter of fact, this week. I'm going to try it for a couple of weeks and I will report back to you whether it worked for me or not. Also, hit the share button. By sharing this information, you help to keep the mysterious disease called lupus. You help to increase awareness, okay? You also help to get the information out there to lupus warriors all around the world and to medical professionals so that they can understand lupus, what we go through, which leads to better medications and quicker diagnosis. Also, by spreading the information, you spread the hope that one day we will find a cure for lupus and totally eradicate this disease. Okay? So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that this video finds you blessed, peaceful, and I hope that you get a good night's sleep. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and implement some of these tips. I'm going to turn my lights off and I am going to bed. Shh. Good night, my friends. I'll talk to you on the next video. Good night.